Sadashiva Smarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadguru Pranatosmyam Om Shri Krishna Govinda Narayana Om. One achieves devotion. How do you get devotion? By doing what we're doing. What is that? By hearing and talking about the Supreme Lord's special qualities in every relationship. Satsanging. Or satsanging. That's how you achieve devotion. It is devotion to satsang, and what? It builds a devotion vasana. You want to have a habit of worshiping God. You make it a habit. Understand? So you see all the time. And then he says, 38. However, he's going to give you another idea here. The primary method by which one develops devotion is association with great souls. Whoa.
That's why we are following you.
No, I'm associated with you because you're great souls. Yeah. Contact, that's the number one. That's the big one, is associating with a person who knows, a free person. Great soul means a free person. In the Vedic tradition here, because there are free people who can't set you free. There's a lot of free people. Actually, there's many more than you think. There's actually millions of them around the world, but very, very few of them can set you free. Why? We call them Brahmanishtas. A Brahmanishta means they're established in Brahman, in the self, as the self. There's many of those people. But what? They're not Shrotriyas. The Shrotriya is somebody who can wield the means of knowledge effectively. So to have a teacher, you don't need a Brahmanishta, actually. Shankara makes this point. He says you could even get enlightened from an unenlightened person who teaches Vedanta properly. That's interesting, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? Why? Because it's not the teacher that's doing it, it's the teaching. So if you follow the method, if you follow the logic, if you learn it, just properly, you can get set free simply by the method. Fortunately, it's better to have a Brahmanishta who's also a Shrotriya, somebody who's free, who can teach, because they have extra authority. And you can actually experience or see the freedom as you're being taught. You can tell there's something in you that knows that's a free person. And so you listen more carefully, and they often have this Shakti, this charisma, this power that attracts you. So you listen more carefully and you pay more attention, and it's quicker and easier with Brahmanishtas who are Shrotriyas. There's many great souls. Once you get to know who you are, then you'll see them. You won't see them physically, but you'll recognize when you see them that there are great souls, particularly as soon as they open their mouth. Huh? Everybody's in the self until he or she opens his or her mouth. And then, and then you'll figure out very quickly whether they're the self or not. If they're speaking purely from a dualistic position, and they don't know they're speaking from a dualistic position, then they're not a great soul. Whereas a great soul will speak as if he's not enlightened, but you'll be able to tell, it's a subtle thing, you'll be able to tell that he's pretending to be a person. The difference, it's a subtle difference. When your mind gets subtle, it gets sattvic after a while, it becomes clear. So he says, and what about these great souls? It says, this is what the scripture, now this you can take this literally. It says, contact with great souls is rare. Why is it rare? Because very few people are qualified. And great souls only accept qualified people. So, there's very few people qualified, that's all. And it's difficult to understand. These people are difficult to understand because they look like people, but they're not people. We're so used to seeing a normal person. When we see one of these great souls, we treat the great soul like he's a normal person. He or she's a normal person. It's a strange business. They're not people. They look like people. What are you actually seeing there? You're seeing the self in a person pretending to be a person. It's all an act. But you don't think it's an act. You think what their body and mind and all that is real. But it isn't, and so you feel uneasy around them. Don't get one of these people into your life. Your life will change, whether you like it or not. They're dangerous people. Don't invite one into your house. Normally, these great souls, they won't stay in a person's house for more than a few days. They move on quickly. Everybody welcomes them, and it's all very nice, and everybody gets high. But pretty soon, you don't sleep well at night. You start noticing things you didn't notice before. All sorts of things start to happen inside you, and it starts to get real uncomfortable. And so then the Mahatma moves on. When you're a sannyasi in India and you take the vow and become a sannyasi, one of the vows that you take is never to stay more than 3 days in one place. That's what, to keep you from getting attached to things, but also what? That's to keep from disturbing people who are not what? Ready to be disturbed. Understand? These people will transform your life. It's pretty scary in a way. If you're very attached to your own identity, it's scary. In my case, I love weird, scary things. I love dangerous things. I love uncertainty. But most people don't like it. Most people only like security. They're always trying to remove insecurity. But insecurity is exciting, it's cool. So when you meet one of these people, you better be ready to change. Because what does he say here? What does he say? He says, and they're difficult to understand and infallible. That means the effects of meeting them are infallible. Do you think I actually thought 50 years ago that I'd be sitting in a yoga ashram in Germany with 1,000 beds talking Vedanta to, huh? Do you know why I'm doing that? Because I met Swamiji. That's why. Infallible. I am the Swami. I didn't think I'd be a Swami at all. I'm a Swami. I'm the Swami. I am my Guru, appearing here now. Understand? It's infallible. You have no choice. That's scary for most people. Because they're all attached, clinging to little things, small little things. You worry about the small stuff. This is why he said here what? The spirit of renunciation is the essence of the whole thing. If you have that spirit of renunciation, then you can what? Then you can deal with these people, because once you get around the great soul, you got to let go of everything. You just will. You'll want to, because you know that's the road to freedom. So, and he says what? Then he says more about this. And the reason this verse is don't look for them. Don't go looking for them. What does he say? Verse 40. The association of great souls can be obtained. You can get it. Huh? And then he says, the operative word is only, but only by the grace of the Lord. Now, does that mean it has nothing to do with you? No. That means you have to earn the grace of God. Because grace is earned. That doesn't mean you can just lay around like a big blob and wait for God to bring you a great guru. That's not what that means. That means what? You keep your head down, follow Dharma, do your sadhana, pray and meditate, pray for understanding, pray for knowledge, get your attention, your mind totally focused on what you want, and what? And one day, one fine day, you'll bump into one of these people who will just be there in your life. In the either most ordinary way or the most extraordinary way. It just depends on your karma. So he says, then Isvara will have heard you, and Isvara will have made this Mahatma available to you. Understand? But you go around and hop from guru to guru and guru and this and that sort of thing. It's never going to happen. You'll meet all kinds of gurus. You'll get little bits of things here and there. You may get a lot here and a lot there, a little that. You may not get anything. You may have a big fight with them. Who knows? You'll just keep hopping around because you're looking for somebody special. But that's not your business. That's Ishvara's job. Ishvara's job to supply you with the guru when you're ready, when you're prepared. Understand? So he says here. It says here, a proper Mahatma is a self-actualized individual steeped in the Vedic tradition. Non-Vedikas, there's people who don't accept the Vedas as a means of knowledge, non-Vedikas are not considered to be Mahatmas because without knowledge of the Vedic tradition, they present dualistic ideas common to yoga and the devotional schools, which view dualistic devotion as both the means and the end, and consider informal dualistic devotion to be a direct means of liberation. We already talked about that. It says here, these schools are knowledge averse. They don't like knowledge. The modern spiritual world, they don't like knowledge. They say there's no knowledge, there's no scripture. Don't read any books. Your awareness. There's no doer. You can't read. You shouldn't read. You shouldn't think. The yoga people. Oh, you're thinking. That's what's your problem. Huh? Huh? They don't want, they're knowledge averse. They hate knowledge. They think it's all intellectual. You're wasting your time. That's what they think. And that's what they tell you, and you don't know anything. So you say, okay, I'm going to stop thinking. I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to experience God. No, you're not. You'll keep right on thinking. You can't stop thinking. It's not anything wrong with the mind at all. It's the knowledge that the mind has, the kind of thoughts it has, and the way it thinks is the problem. You have to get the right thoughts in your mind, and you have to learn how to think them properly. To think properly. That's the point here. It says, these schools are knowledge averse, and they vehemently assert that Vedanta study is not required. Tony Parsons, a couple of my people went there to listen to Tony. They were English, and they heard about it, so they went. They asked him, well, what about Vedanta? You know what he said? Vedanta's rubbish. Shut up. Vedanta's rubbish. Shut up. So that's what they told him. That's what he told them, I'm sorry. It says, they even go so far as to saying that Vedanta is an obstacle to liberation because they mistakenly believe that it's devoid of heart, meaning feelings. Huh? They all go want to get a hug from Amachi. It's a big mama. She hugs them and makes them feel. You know, and Ramji, oh, you don't get your hugs from Ramji, do you? He's a big, mean guru.
I do.
Yeah, you get your hug. I'm warm and fuzzy, actually. I know how to hug. I'm a good hugger. And I make you laugh and make you feel good, don't I? Yeah, I do. Of course I do. You think we're what? You think I'm not a feeling person? Because I got a brain? Having a brain doesn't mean I'm incapable of feeling. Huh? Jesus Christ. I tell you, the world has gone to, I mean, it's unbelievable, the mess the world is in. Vedanta is not averse to feelings insofar as feelings and emotions are an essential aspect of existence. Why would you deny feelings? It's stupid. In fact, this text informs us how to use our love, the only feeling that really counts, constructively. Instead of using your love for stupid things, pursuing things in this world, why don't you use your love constructively, and make something out of it? This is all about your feelings, for God's sakes. Most important feeling. What's the most important feeling? Love. That's all. Vedanta's analysis of the emotional aspect of human existence is second to none. Nobody is as clear about the value of emotions as Vedanta is. Yet they all throw it out. So Vedanta's intellectual. That's because they're not sensitive people. They're not very intelligent. God bless them, and there's something for them. But because the ignorant people, well, never mind. I get worked up. 41. Now, okay, here you go. There is no difference between the Lord's grace and the grace of the great souls that manifest it. So I told you, if you see this thing here as Isvara teaching you, then you're good to go. There's no difference. You're being taught by Isvara. That's the point. Understand? And you don't have to like me or not. It doesn't matter. Because it's Isvara's teaching here. So you should take it as Isvara and leave James out of the picture. I don't need to be in the picture, okay? There's no need for me to be in the picture. It just gets in the way anyway. I just throw in some James comments to make jokes and make you feel comfortable, and for a little enjoyment on my personal enjoyment on my own, But Understand, there's no difference between the Lord's grace and the great souls that manifest it. And then what does he say? So what do you do? Strive only for God's grace. And then he repeats it. Strive only for God's grace. And what does that imply? Next verse. By all means, renounce all relationships with ignorant, negative, self-centered people.
Everybody.
Kind of everybody. Yeah, stay away from them. So you married a jerk, you know? Just ignore him or divorce him or go somewhere else, you know? Don't waste your time hanging around with people whose minds are like totally negative and whiny and complaining and clingy and needy and, oh my God. It's, you know, you're not doing yourself a favor. You're wasting your precious time, your precious resources by associating with sansaris. We've got about a 5 minutes. My wife and I have about a 5-minute tolerance, huh? You know, and we're very polite and very friendly, and we like this and smile and shake hands and all that sort of thing. And then after 5 minutes, you just go blank, and we stop listening. But I've learned how to nod and say yes, oh yes, right, but I'm not listening, and I don't care to listen, and I'm thinking, please go away, because I'm sick and tired of hearing this. I've heard this story 1 million times, and you don't realize how boring this is to me, because you're so fascinated by your stupid, boring statements that you're not paying attention to me at all. Please go away. That's what a prayer I'm making to Isvara, and soon enough, off they go. They feel, oh, this person, he's not listening to me. He doesn't understand, or I don't want to understand. I know what you're saying. And what you're saying is just, it's just a waste of time. That's all. I got better things to do with my mind than what? Than you know.
So is it not love as well to listen to other people if they are suffering from something? If you are listening, you have a person come to you, they're suffering from something, and is it not love as well to just sit there and listen to them because they need somebody to listen to them?
Okay, yeah, but that's fine. Give them the love, and then see if they need you anymore.
Of course, there are some people that keep suffering.
Yeah, they just keep suffering, and they keep coming back over and over. That's the kind of.
I get my problems because then I have the feeling so much. Anyway, I can't help you. So.
Well, that's right, and you should learn to recognize. You should recognize sooner than later that you can't solve their problem, because they don't think they're the problem. They think they have problems. One day this man came to Swamiji. It was really funny. It was just so funny. And Swamiji was so glorious, you know. This little man, he was really a cute little man, you know. And he came up and he touched Swamiji's feet. Swamiji looked at him. Said, he goes like this, means, what do you want? That's in India, that's what they do. Tell me. And he said, Swamiji, he sounds like this, Swamiji, I have a problem. And Swamiji looked at him and he said, you don't have a problem, you are the problem. Huh? Everybody had a good laugh, including the man. Because with Swamiji, it was funny even if it hurt. It was always funny because he was really a hilarious, humorous person. And you could feel it. And it wasn't done in a mean way at all. It was just a fact. No, they don't know they're the problem. They think somebody else can solve the problem. And they don't. That's right. You're right. Absolutely. They really don't want to let go of that problem because why? Because that's how they get sympathy. They need attention. They need love. They need sympathy. And they're begging a little bit from you. They're beggars. They're energy suckers. Holy moly, huh? Boy, and once they get you, sometimes when they get me, I forget who I am, and they get me. And I find myself just being sucked along by them. And I think, oh, Jesus, stop it, Ron. That person's going to, huh? They'll eat up every bit of your life from you. So needy. You can just feel it when they get around you. You start, huh? A needy person? Don't you feel it? Yeah, you do. You feel it. And you should be clever as how to get out of it. I always have an appointment in 5 minutes. Even if I don't, I say, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'd love to keep talking to you. I just remembered I've got a Skype chat in 7 minutes and I'm late. We'll speak again. Get out of there. Huh? I mean, it's not me. The scripture says that. I love that.